If a big UFO came now we walk outside, and over Westminster, there's a spaceship hovering, I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised. NASA's live stream cut out. Brian Cox went on air and said, "What had begun as a routine sky survey from a deep space telescope over the Pacific spiraled into one of the most controversial astronomical events in recent history." NASA shut down the feed minutes later. They deleted the raw footage. And the object, Neo-Oumuamua, breaks the rules of physics. At first glance, it appeared similar to the 2017 Interstellar visitor, oddly shaped, extremely fast, tumbling erratically. But this one came closer, much closer. And this time, it didn't just pass silently through our solar system. Even more terrifying, the object decelerated as it approached Earth with no visible propulsion. NASA's Deep Space Network registered micro-vibrations consistent with internal guidance mechanisms. The live feed picked up thermal fluctuations localized around its structure, hinting at some form of active regulation, as if the object was cooling or shielding itself. And just before the blackout, a beam of prime number pulses, aimed directly at Earth's upper magnetosphere. If this kind of mind-blowing science excites you, make sure to subscribe. We dive into discoveries like this every week. Now, if Neo-Oumuamua sounds familiar, it should. The original Oumuamua sparked one of the biggest debates in modern astronomy. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb publicly suggested it might be an interstellar probe not natural at all. It was cigar-shaped, oddly reflective, and accelerated without any clear source of propulsion. Several physicists, including Brian Cox, have suggested a radical possibility Neo-Oumuamua isn't a probe. It's a sensor. A kind of interstellar tripwire left in dormant orbit, waiting. Perhaps for a signal. Or an action. Or an awakening. Cox speculated that this theory ties into the Fermi paradox, the haunting question. If the universe is so vast, where is everyone? It's crazy when you think about it. We can land rovers on Mars and detect black holes billions of light years away, but right here on Earth, many insurance companies still try to lowball people after an accident, like it's the Stone Age. If you ever get seriously hurt, your case could actually be worth millions. Which is why you might want a stellar legal team fighting to get you the compensation you deserve. That's why so many people check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. They don't settle for weak offers. Just recently, they secured $12 million in Florida and $26 million in Philadelphia for injury victims, 30 to 40 times more than what insurance companies first offered. And here's the real-world physics of it. If they don't win, you don't pay. No upfront fees. No hidden charges. It's completely free unless they win your case. They've even modernized the whole process. You can submit your claim and chat with your legal team right from your smartphone. If you ever got seriously injured, your case could be worth millions, and you're only a few clicks away from potentially changing your life. So easy, you can start your claim now at www.4thepeople.com/specialize, found in the description below, or by scanning the QR code on screen. Maybe advanced civilizations don't broadcast. Maybe they watch silently. One chilling interpretation: we weren't supposed to notice it. And now that we've triggered the next phase. After the feed went dark, independent observatories in Chile and South Africa picked up something strange. A directed burst of electromagnetic radiation in the X-band, consisting of prime number intervals. But it gets even stranger. The burst matches a fragment of the Voyager golden record, specifically, the sound of a heartbeat. 1 pulse. Then 3. Then 5. Then silence. If you've made it this far, you're clearly into the deep stuff. Hit like and let us know your theory in the comment. Simulation, higher dimensions, or something else. Astrophysicists are quietly debating Neo-Oumuamua could be a node in a larger cosmic filtration system, one that detects civilizations as they become spacefaring and determines their threat level. That would explain the non-gravitational maneuvers, the prime number signals, and why the object didn't initiate contact, but observed from a distance. Brian Cox likened it to a quantum observer effect on a civilizational scale. We may be collapsing our own probability wave simply by advancing. If the theories about Neo-Oumuamua are true, this could mark a pivotal moment in humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. The object's strange behavior, its acceleration, deceleration, the electromagnetic pulses, and the possible existence of a larger surveillance network suggests that we're being watched. Imagine a scenario where the object is not just a passing anomaly, but a sentinel part of a network of advanced probes placed throughout the solar system, just waiting for the right moment to react. The fact that it seems to have noticed us through a series of responses suggests a larger, far-reaching agenda. If so, it's possible that we're being judged based on our actions, our advancement, or maybe even our readiness for interstellar inclusion. Brian Cox's statement, that humanity may not be the ones discovering anything, but rather the ones being observed, brings a terrifying new dimension to the notion of first contact. In the weeks following the blackout, faint whispers from the edges of our monitoring systems have grown harder to dismiss. Independent researchers, some once dismissed as fringe theorists, have quietly begun to collaborate with members of the mainstream scientific community under the radar. Data packets, raw and unfiltered, have been exchanged not through institutional channels, but through encrypted dark web nodes, dead drops in academic code repositories, and anonymized observatory logs. The pattern is emerging, and it's unmistakable. That, more than anything, terrifies those who understand orbital mechanics. A large object in the outer atmosphere should be influenced by Earth's gravity, solar radiation pressure, or at the very least, tidal forces. Instead, it remains in perfect geostationary orbit, except it isn't following any geosynchronous logic. Its position shifts subtly, aligning not with Earth's equator but with regions of concentrated human activity, dense networks of electromagnetic output, and curiously, areas where deep-sea cables converge. As if it is listening. Not everyone, not immediately. But scattered across the globe, a growing number of individuals, many with no prior connection, report eerily similar visions. A black obelisk, hovering in a vast silence, a pulse, rhythmic, like a heartbeat, and a single phrase echoing in their minds in languages they do not speak, threshold reached. CERN's internal logs, some of which were leaked by whistleblowers under threat of expulsion, show an anomalous spike in high-energy neutrino detections coinciding with the first wave of these dream incidents. The signature pattern bears resemblance to what astrophysicists call directed collapse events, but such events have only been modeled theoretically and were thought to be impossible under known physics. If accurate, this suggests not just observation but manipulation. Reality, as we understand it, may no longer be operating autonomously. We may be caught in a causality loop designed by a higher intelligence, one that guides civilizations through a critical phase of self-awareness by seeding anomalies, then observing how we respond. Whether this is an act of benevolence, containment, or something altogether alien, is unknowable. The presence of the prime number pulses, the Voyager heartbeat, the synchrony with human neurological response, it all points to a network far beyond what SETI ever anticipated. A network not broadcasting to be found, but responding to being noticed. Meanwhile, the governments of the world have quietly mobilized. A multinational task force, quietly assembled under the guise of space debris monitoring, has begun charting not just Neo-Oumuamua's position but potential mirror anomalies across the solar system. Several moons of Jupiter and Saturn, previously dismissed as inert, have begun emitting faint, modulated radio signals. Not enough to be readable, but unmistakably artificial in structure. Something is waking up. Brian Cox has reportedly declined further interviews. His final public words on the matter, spoken in a tone more haunted than excited, have been replayed in hushed tones among physicists across the world.